This week at MWC, Huawei introduced two new laptops, the next generation of the Huawei MateBook X Pro and the Huawei MateBook 14. Last year, Huawei introduced the MateBook X Pro, an excellent combination of price and performance. Now we're seeing the next generation. Now, functionally, this looks exactly the same as the previous generation, and it should. It's identically the same, except it weighs in at 2.93 pounds. What's new about this is what's inside of it, a Whiskey Lake processor, the same that was in the MateBook X13 that was introduced at CES. Now the MateBook X Pro sits at the top of the MateBook food chain. It's the premium model for Huawei, and it comes with premium features. What you're looking at right now is a Microsoft Surface style 3000 by 2000 pixel display, which comes in at 13.9 inches and measures 450 nits in output. Inside of it is an 8th gen Core i7 8565U. Again, that's Whiskey Lake. It also comes with a Core i5 model, the 8265. What's new about this particular model are a couple of things. First of all, the previous generation omitted the Thunderbolt I/O ports. This comes with two. We have two right here on the side, as well as a headphone jack. And on the other side, we have a standard USB Type-A port. That helps eliminate the need for a USB Type-C port jack. Inside of it, 16 gigs of memory, up to a terabyte of SSD storage, which is actually something that we haven't seen from too many other laptop manufacturers. Now, we also see from a wireless perspective, 802.11ac and Bluetooth 5.0. It comes with Dolby Atmos in its speaker system, which is actually a requirement these days because most laptop speakers are sort of lousy. The MateBook X Pros really pumped up the volume. In the previous generation, we're expecting this to be the same. Again, a beloved feature. This, in fact, is the power button, but it's also a fingerprint reader. And when you log in, it really logs you in a couple of seconds and worked actually somewhat flawlessly to log you in. Now, we are told that this will ship after MWC. The previous generation was $14.99. We don't know the exact price. We're expecting it to come out in late May. Now, let's turn to the next model that Huawei showed us, and that is the MateBook 14. Now, this doesn't come with any particular letter designation. You may be familiar with the MateBook 13, which came out at CES. This is simply the larger version of this laptop, and actually it contains many of the same features that the 13-inch did as well. From a display standpoint, it's a 14-inch display, 2160 by 1440, again a 3:2 ratio. It puts out a little bit less light, 300 nits. We consider 260 to be satisfactory. You'll notice that it is rather chunky. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It gives it an air of sturdiness. We don't know the exact weight, but it comes in at 15.9 millimeters thick. Again, Whiskey Lake inside of this. Core i7 8565U or a Core i5 8265U. The one thing that we should mention is that both of these models, the MateBook X Pro as well as this, come with a discrete graphics processor inside them. Specifically the GeForce MX250. That gives it a little bit more graphics oomph. Not going to make this a gaming PC, but it's certainly going to allow you to play videos back with little or no effort. And it actually will allow you to play some games, just not the latest Call of Duty or Battlefield. This has a step down in terms of I/O. Again, on the side, you're seeing USB Type-A ports. Unfortunately, one of these is a USB USB 2.0 port. One of these is a USB 3.0 port. We would have liked both of them to be USB 3.0 just for simplicity's sake. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. On the other side, at least, we do have USB-C, but it's not Thunderbolt enabled like the MateBook X Pro. It's simply power and the basic data capabilities. However, we do see HDMI here as well. So again, we don't necessarily need a USB-C hub. We do have the output right there. Like the MateBook X Pro, we have the fingerprint reader. We also have a very large trackpad on both devices. That's one of the strengths of the Huawei machines. And actually, it's one of the things that makes it quite easy to use. By the way, that keyboard has about 1.2 millimeters of travel. I've also found it to be quite easy to use and comfortable. One thing that we mentioned on both these devices as well is the 1 megapixel camera. You'll notice that the bezel on these devices, especially this one, is quite thin. That screen goes almost out to the corners. We're talking about screen to body ratios of about 90% or more. And what that means is there really isn't any opportunity to put the camera into the bezel. There just isn't really room for it. So you have to put it sort of at this keyboard level. Now, what this means in reality, of course, is that anyone who's talking to you on Skype is going to be staring at your chin, which is a little bit awkward. On the other hand, again, you really don't have too many other options as far as where to put it. We have seen laptops that put it sort of out to the side, but again, Huawei uses a full-size keyboard and tries to use up all the available space. Now that's pretty much it, except for a couple of new usability features, which we should talk about as well. Now, there is actually, let's see if it'll work, there is actually a feature to go ahead and take a screenshot. You can obviously, in previous years, use the print screen or the screen snip capability. So with this, a 3-finger swipe enables you to take a screenshot, which you can go ahead and highlight using a finger here, and that'll go ahead and take a picture of the screen, which you can go ahead and do a number of things with, including recognize any text that's actually in the image. Now, there are a couple of other features involved in this, and Huawei sort of lumps them under the category of what's called one-hop. If you have a Huawei phone, you can go ahead and pair it with either of these two devices using the NFC capabilities in the phone. And it only works with Huawei phones, by the way. When you do that, you have a couple of options. You can go ahead and share images, basically either from the phone or to the laptop over a 30 megabits per second NFC connection. And that allows you to quickly go ahead and take photos from your phone and put them into your PC for editing. You can also shake your phone, and if you do so, what happens is it takes a snapshot of what's actually on your PC. So if you're in the middle of a Skype call, for example, you can go ahead and take a quick screenshot of your Skype call and share it with whoever you want. The third thing is clipboard sharing. Again, this is something that you can go ahead and do with email or some other capabilities, but you can go ahead and use the one-hop capability to go ahead and share it directly from your phone. So that's the Huawei MateBook X Pro as well as the Huawei MateBook 14. Stay tuned to PCWorld.com as well as PC World's YouTube channel for more from MWC.